What's up, everybody? How are we doing? PAX East. Look, this place is packed. Sparks! I feel so special. I feel like one of the Magic Pro League players, one of the people in Mythic Invitational. How are you guys all doing today? I have one question for everyone here at PAX East and all of you watching along at home. Are you ready for some War of the Spark preview cards? Some War of the Spark story details, art, everything that you want to see and more. My name is Jimmy Wong. You may know me from shows such as Game Nights and the Command Zone podcast. Today, I am here to bring you guys, to usher you into the world of War of the Spark. And of course, every single set in Magic the Gathering is accompanied by an incredible trailer. Something to really get you hyped up. I got to see this yesterday, and I got to say, this is Paradox Engine levels of good. Who wants to see it? All right, without further ado, the trailer for War of the Spark.
Doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Well, I think we all need a couple of seconds. That is an actual tear on my finger. Wow. How about that trailer? Wasn't that absolutely incredible? There is nothing better to lead us up to the finals of the Mythic Invitational today, here powered by Omen by HP. But of course, we need to talk about War of the Spark first. We have 16 preview cards to show you all today. What an incredible number, and we have an awesome panel joining us. To my right, it's Taylor Ingvarsson.
Hi, everybody. I'm Taylor Ingvarsson. I'm art director at Wizards, and I was the lead art director on War of the Spark.
We are also joined today by Beyer.
Hey, I'm so excited for today. We all had a part in making War of the Spark. My part was I was the world building and creative lead for War of the Spark.
Awesome. And to my left, Dave Humpherys.
I'm Dave Humpherys. I led the set design for War of the Spark, and I'm a principal game designer.
And of course, we are joined by the one and only Magic Pro League player, Brad Nelson, everybody.
I was just here for the trailer, so I'll see y'all later.
All right, cool. See you, Brad. Okay. So we are currently holding for the stream. I wanted to say, everyone here, I'm so glad you guys are here. I actually can see people crying in the audience, which is incredible. I saw the trailer yesterday, and after I saw it, people were like, Jimmy, what'd you think? I literally just walked up and left the room. I couldn't even finish. But we have a great panel ahead of us today. Right now, I believe we're holding for an audio issue on the stream. So we just got to have a little hangout time.
All right.
Just us and PAX East. Dry some tears. It's okay to show emotion.
What do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, a lot of stuff is happening. So, I mean, we've all... have you guys been watching the Mythic Invitational up until now?
Yeah.
What do we think? Just general, very broad question.
Best 1-2 drop of my life.
Well, Brad, I mean, you are here today because, unfortunately, you're not in the top 4, but
Nope.
How was your tournament experience?
I mean, it's amazing. I've never had one like this. Like, I've been playing Magic for 10 years professionally, and when I walked in on Thursday, and from even on the other side of the convention hall, I'm seeing sparks, and I'm like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, and there's actually my tournament. And,
Yeah.
and it's just been unbelievable. Like, even when I got knocked out, I just went upstairs and watched the other matches being played, and I'm loving it.
I mean, it must be a great experience, too, getting to be surrounded by all the other MPL players, so many people from the community as well. And I'm sure it's a dream for you guys that work on the sets and every day get to see it come to life, both in paper and now on arenas as well,
Yeah.
right?
It is incredibly exciting to see this kind of massive stage to showcase. We work on like making the art look pretty,
Right.
but also it comes together as this giant competition. It's
Yeah.
super thrilling.
Yeah.
And, I mean, $1 million. That's a number I never thought I would see associated with Magic the Gathering. Okay, cool. All right, well, let's continue with the panel. The big question is, how exactly did we get to the events on War of the Spark? Bolas is obviously a huge player in all of it, and as we can see behind us, it's a war-torn Ravnica, this giant panoramic landscape. And Taylor, I have to ask you, are we looking at the basic lands of the set right now?
Yeah. Yeah, we're super
Wow.
Yes. I know, they're so good. So with the art in War of the Spark, we really wanted to capture like the expansive nature of this conflict across Ravnica. And what better way to do it than this awesome panoramic shot of the 10th district during one of the major story beats. It's really funny. This actually came out of just, it was like, Doug ran over to my desk at like 5:45 p.m. before the end of the day and was like, okay, I have this idea. Can we pull it off? It's like,
Yeah.
well, that's a tall order. But yeah, let's go for it. And the artist, Richard Wright, absolutely crushed it. And if you get a chance to look at it closer, he even put like tiny little people running around like hurling magical spells at each other.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Well, I mean, we see little Planeswalker sparks flying across the sky. Doug, I have to know, how did we get here? How did Bolas do all of this?
So Nico Bolas wants ultimate power, as you do,
As you do.
and he's figured out a way to bring together elements of a gigantic plan to Ravnica so he can achieve his wish. What he's doing is staging a massive invasion of Ravnica. He's got the planar bridge from way back in Kaladesh. He's got the Eternal Army from Amonkhet, this huge, fearsome army of undead warriors. We call him the Dread Horde. And he's got the Immortal Sun from Ixalan. So if any planeswalkers come to Ravnica, that's it. They're stuck there. So the Eternals are invading Ravnica. What this is going to do is draw planeswalkers from all over the multiverse.
Right.
They want to stop him. They're hearing a beacon. They're hearing the clarion call to come to Ravnica and stop Nico Bolas, which is possibly exactly what he wants.
Oh my. And Dave, obviously, as a designer, planeswalkers matter in this set, right?
Right, so it was a real challenge. Like, how do we show off this set where planeswalkers figure like prominently in this really epic story? And you know, what would we normally do in a set? Like, we might have it in the art and the names here and there, the flavor text. But I was leading the Dominaria set design and picked up a few cues from there. Let's just go all out with this. Let's go for the most ambitious thing, which in this case was let's put one Planeswalker card per pack, and that's in addition to all the other stuff. Like where again, yeah, you're going to see it. Like each Planeswalker in the set has one or more specific cards that shows them doing something pretty cool or iconic that you'd associate with them to give them some more flavor.
That is awesome. And I think that just about leads us to our very first preview card. Oh yeah. That's why most of you are here, don't lie. All right, let's cue it up. It is Ignite the Beacon. 4 and a white for an instant. Search your library for up to 2 Planeswalker cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. So clearly, Planeswalkers do matter. Do you want to see another card? All right, let's bring up Interplanar Beacon. It's a land. Whenever you cast a Planeswalker spell, you gain 1 life. You can tap it to add 1 colorless mana, or you can also tap 1 and tap the land to add 2 mana of different colors. Spend this mana only to cast Planeswalker spells. Well, we've been talking a lot about Planeswalker spells. I think it's time we see a Planeswalker. All right, who do we have, Dave?
Let's take a look at Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge.
Look at this guy. It is 4, a blue and a black for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker. And first line of text here, creature and Planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. A +2, Tezzeret deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You gain X life. -3, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. And -8, the big one, exile the top 10 cards of your library. Put all artifact cards from among them onto the battlefield. Now, like with previous sets, Tezzeret is the Buy a Box promo for War of the Spark, available exclusively at your local game shop when you order a box while supplies last. And surprise, he is the 37th Planeswalker in the set. Y'all thought we were going to give you 36. We got you. All right, we talked about a bunch of cards. Brad, I want to know your impressions as a player.
Well, Dave, that was a static ability on a Planeswalker.
Right. So yeah, in fact, every Planeswalker in the set has a static or triggered ability. So they all
Big whoa.
Right. So they all have an ability in addition to loyalty abilities, and like that let us have a lot of fun.
That's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say.
Affinity is not in the set, by the way.
Just on the Tezzeret. Well, that's awesome. Tezzeret brought a little bit of flavor that's tied directly to him. But yeah, static abilities on Planeswalkers, that's pretty amazing. And Doug, we have so many Planeswalkers on this set. Can we just talk about who is here to fight this war?
Yeah, so we have just about every character we've seen back through Magic Origins. A Johnny, and Angrath, Ashiok, and that's just the A's. So look, the whole point is to showcase the feel of this, like Dave said, a massively ambitious feeling of a war of Planeswalkers versus Nicol Bolas' forces.
Wow.
So we've got the Gatewatch, we've got Sarkhan and Narset and Ugin and Liliana, whose card is incredible. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we just have a lot of Planeswalkers.
Come on.
In this set.
37 total. Taylor, Planeswalkers are obviously a very important part of the universe. How does someone go about getting 37 unique pieces of art to really make them feel special?
Oh, man. Oh, no, yeah. Take a look back here, though.
Hey, it's my boy. Devil.
No, 37 Planeswalkers is a ton of Planeswalkers, and it was a pretty big challenge, but it was also really exciting to kind of dig down and see how each one of these characters would react when you throw them in this epic city fight.
Right.
And that really allowed us to really focus in on their individual personalities and their unique power suites and just really crank it up to 11 so that we can really see and show you guys what they're capable of when we allow them to just take their gloves off.
Wow. The gloves are off. Or, some of them have gloves on already. But I have a question. Planeswalkers, we've typically seen them at the mythic rarity, but we have 37 of them, 36 in the actual set. How did you make that work?
Right. So in order to get to one per pack, rather, yeah, we needed to put them at all sorts of different rarities. So they're at uncommon, rare, mythic. There are 20 uncommons, 13 rares, and 3 mythics. And that means that they're not going to all be at some sort of bombastic,
right.
blow you out in limited sort of power level. But yeah, we tried to play around, have a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll see. We played around with some mana costs. You'll see some cool stuff coming up. And again, yeah, like again, lots of cards in the set are
Tied.
playing up specifically to those Planeswalkers.
That's exciting. I think you guys know what time it is, right? It's time to see a Planeswalker, perhaps not at Mythic Rarity. Let's take a look at Braska Swarm's Eminence. She costs 4 mana total, 2 black-green hybrid. Legendary Planeswalker comes in with 5 loyalty. The static ability, whenever a creature you control Death Touch deals damage to a player or Planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. And her -2, her only ability, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker. Woo! Rad, first impressions?
I mean, I love the idea of just having a negative ability on a Planeswalker, no way to go up.
Right.
And also the static ability allows you to keep it in play even if it can't activate each turn. It's doing something. So that's a really cool design.
Yeah, it's like an enchantment almost. It just sits there.
Yeah, or
and
an
has
artifact.
something
Yeah,
happen.
that's awesome.
And, you know, speaking of this, the spells that are tied to each of the Planeswalkers that you mentioned earlier, let's take a look at another card. This is Braska's Finisher. Braska's Finisher, 2 in the black for a 3/2 Gorgon Assassin, as Braska does. When Braska's Finisher enters the battlefield, destroy target creature or Planeswalker and opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. Now, pretty awesome to have a card directly tied to the Planeswalker. Adds a lot more flavor to the set, obviously. Now, do you think we're going to see some other cards that are maybe more, you know, we've known them in the past that have Planeswalker names in the title?
Right, so one of the funnest things to do actually was to go back and do a search for every Planeswalker and look for their name and previous cards that we could use as reprints. So we tried to find like all the coolest reprints we could from Magic's back catalog.
Well, one of my favorite Planeswalkers is a Johnny.
All right, well, how about a Johnny's Pridemate?
Hey! Johnny's Pridemate, 1 in the white for a 2/2 Cat Soldier. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on a Johnny's Pridemate. Now, Dave, I actually noticed the text, rules text is a little different here. What's up?
Right. So we actually updated the text for this card. It used to be you may put a counter on it. We decided like, well, you usually want to do that, so we cleaned that up, and now we put in everyone's hands, a card with updated text.
That's awesome. And, well, we know that a Johnny has a Pridemate. That must mean a Johnny has a Planeswalker card as well. Let's take a look at a Johnny himself. It's a Johnny the Great-Hearted. 2 a green and the white, 5 loyalty Planeswalker. Creatures you control have Vigilance. +1, you gain 3 life. -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each other Planeswalker you control. Woo, Brad. I need to know what you think.
Well, for starters, it works really well with the Pridemate.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
vigilance and gaining counters, that's awesome. But I love the idea that Planeswalkers now can help each other. Like a Johnny is going to put counters on your other Planeswalkers.
Right.
That could help Braska activate a 3rd time. That's really cool how it's just going to like synergize with the rest of your board.
Yeah, and the art is incredible. Is he holding the head of a soldier, Taylor?
Oh, wow.
As he was running by.
Yeah.
He's an
Johnny's out.
efficient cat.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
No time wasted. Now, Taylor, part of me is actually really sad because Ravnica is one of my favorite planes. It's so beautiful. It's got all these guilds with different architecture and buildings, and it's been brought to ruin by Nicol Bolas's plans. I'm also kind of in awe of the destruction. How was that process to create and to draw for and to create art for?
Well, as we know, like Ravnica is an incredibly beautiful plane with really intricate and elaborate architecture, and it's also super difficult to illustrate. And this time around, we really wanted to capture the vibe of like a high-budget action film, sort of like we kind of saw before the panel. And we're with the cast of 36 extremely powerful planeswalkers, the guilds of Ravnica, and this army that Bolas has brought to Ravnica, just ready to go toe-to-toe in like a big heavyweight match.
Yeah.
And with all that epic power in the mix, there's just bound to be some battle damage done to the city. Can't avoid it. But we really did this to show that the stakes are really high, but Ravnica's not defenseless. They're super powerful, and they're ready to go toe-to-toe with Bolas. And visually, just with all the smoke and rubble and debris running by, it was just a way to help us keep that, reinforce the motion that we wanted, even in those quieter moments that we'll see in the cards.
Now, you say toe-to-toe with Bolas. Like, it was just like, yeah, anyone can just stand up to the guy and figure it out. I mean, let's take a look at a card called Emergent Zone, where I don't think We are really going toe-to-toe with Bolas here. So let's take a look at our next preview card, Emergent Zone. Is that toe-to-toe to you?
You know, he's got to make an entrance.
Emergent Zone's a land. You can tap it to add a colorless mana, or you can pay 1 and tap this land to sacrifice it, and you may cast spells this turn as though they had Flash. That's super exciting, and this art is incredible, right? Here is the planar bridge opening up over the chamber of the guild pack, literally just ripping a hole into the space-time continuum, I guess. And another favorite piece of art that I have from the set also covers the same event, but from another angle, which I love, and that card is Ravnica at War. 3 and a white for a sorcery. Exile all multicolored permanents. And it's from this upper top-down perspective as someone just watches, as obviously this just, things are happening and they don't look good. Brad, what do you think about these cards?
Well, I'm going to start with saying that I like multicolored cards, so I don't think I'm going to like Ravagers of War that much.
Understandable.
But Emergent Zone seems awesome. Quicken was one of my favorite cards from like 4 or 5 years ago, and now I get to play with like flash sorceries without having to play blue.
Right.
So I really like that idea.
Yeah, that opens it up to every single color. Commander players,
Yeah.
I'm sure, are already very excited about that as well. Doug, I have a question here. Nicol Bolas is a pretty smart guy, right?
That's right. True.
He's like converging a lot of different things into the same area at the same time. The internet has surmised that this may or may not be a trap for the Planeswalkers. Please tell me it's not so.
It's totally a trap. Yes, Nicol Bolas has created a web. He's put down the conditions in Ravnica that are perfect for what he wants. And what he wants, ultimately, is not to invade Ravnica. He's not trying to be king or president of Ravnica.
Right.
What he wants is Planeswalkers. So he's got his army of Eternals, which are also there to help him cast an ancient spell called the Elder Spell, which will let him harvest Planeswalkers' sparks for ultimate power. So, all the Planeswalkers who are coming to stop him are helping him out.
And they're stuck there.
Yep, they're stuck.
And how long has he been making this plan for?
For at least since the mending, but before that, he's 20,000 plus years old. So he has had designs on godlike power for a way longer than these little kids have been alive.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this spell in the set?
There is a card called the Elder Spell in the set.
That's amazing. I don't even know what I'm eating for lunch today. So you might say then, Doug, that there is no escape for these Planeswalkers. 2 in the blue, instant, counter target creature or Planeswalker spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard, and some gravy on top, scry 1. Now, this is pretty sweet. I love the fact that the counter spell is a little more flexible now, and the scry 1 on there is always a little added bonus. Dave, the mechanics that we see in this set, I mean, we have to support the Planeswalkers, right? And can you help us reveal to the world what exactly we're going to be dealing with and how these Planeswalkers are going to be bolstered in-game?
Yeah. So we do have a returning mechanic. I'll give each of you a minute to think, or not a minute, but
Yeah.
what mechanic would
Shout
you
it
want
out.
to see to work with Planeswalkers? Yell it out. That sounds like a lot of people are getting. Yeah. So Proliferate is here.
Yeah!
So yeah, you'd seen like the uncommon Planeswalkers that have a limited amount of uses. If that disappointed you, well, Proliferate gives you some tantalizing way to get some more uses out of them. Also, I know it's super exciting to try to get off a Planeswalker Ultimate sooner than you're supposed to be able to. So there's that as well. And yeah, it's just fun here in this environment. Last time you saw Proliferate, it was like tearing down everyone with -1/-1 counters. The Phyrexians are just doing really mean things, making everybody weak. Here you're just boosting everything up. Planeswalkers getting strong. The creatures, like, Johnny's Pride Mate, like there's the +1/+1 counter theme. So everybody's getting stronger. It's on the side of good here, not on the side of bad.
Evil. Well, on the side of everyone, because Proliferate, you get to choose any number of permanents. So let's take a look at the first Proliferate card of the set. It's Flux Channeler. 2 in the blue for a human wizard, 2/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Proliferate. And Proliferate, the rules text, choose any number of permanents and or players, then give each another counter of each kind already there. Wow. Brett, what do you think about Proliferate being back in the set?
Well, I'm really happy to see Proliferate come back because in 2011, I used it to actually win my Player of the Year title.
Hey!
Humble brag.
Humble brag, more like it.
I used it for evil though to get 10 infect.
Right.
But this is awesome. Like this is just another way for all of these planeswalkers. I'm gonna need to bring a lot of dice to London. I'm just figuring that out.
Yeah, obviously we're gonna need dice at the pre-release, dice at proliferating, planeswalkers, +1/+1 counters. Now, let's take it back to the amazing trailer that we saw. One of my favorite parts is just seeing that army marching mindless in a way controlled by Liliana straight towards their goal, and they seem absolutely unstoppable. And Nicol Bolas, I guess, imported them from Emergent. Doug, catch us up. How exactly did they get there, and how does Nicol Bolas even get them onto this completely different plane?
Right, so the trials on Amonkhet were there to weed out only the best warriors, and if your reward for making it through all the trials was to be killed by Hazaret and turned into an undead, unstoppable warrior, coated in Lazotep, which is that blue metallic mineral you're seeing on the. Lazotep allows Bolas to bring the Eternals through the planar bridge to Ravnica, and that becomes his stormtroopers. That becomes his massive army that he's using to take over all of Ravnica.
That's pretty intense. And there's a lot of different types of Eternals, right, Taylor?
Yeah, we're going to see, it's really exciting. We're going to see a couple creatures that haven't been able to be skinned in Lazotep yet. So keep an eye out for those in your packs. And it's really cool to see the Eternal Army marching through Ravnica in a visual sense, not necessarily in the flavor sense. Because just the blue of that Lazotep really pops off of that more urban palette that Ravnica has going on. And they're definitely not hiding.
It looks nice. Yeah, wow, you blew my mind with that. All right, let's take a look at our very first card featuring the Eternal Army. How about it? It's Herald of the Dreadhorde. 3 in the black for a 3/2 creature zombie warrior. When Herald of the Dreadhorde dies, amass 2. It's a brand new mechanic. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. Interesting. A brand new mechanic. And of course, what else are these Eternals doing but invading the city, which is our next card. 1, a blue and a red for a sorcery. Amass X, where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. So in this case, you're not amassing a number, you're amassing X, and that number could be huge, as we've seen with the blue-red decks in Standard. Amass is a brand new mechanic. Dave, how did this mechanic come about? Can we talk a little more about it?
Right, so the mass mechanic was trying to show off the Eternal Army of Bolas. It's in blue, black, and red, Nicol Bolas's Grixis colors.
Right.
We really wanted to show off that, if you didn't deal with the army, it would just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We in this case, didn't give you the choice to I'll make a bunch of little armies. No, you're going to keep going bigger and bigger. That's not to say that you can't make one, sacrifice it for some effect, make another one, sacrifice it. But, there's a lot of different ways you can go with the deck building. But we really wanted to show that, we're going to make you keep building this up, and by not giving you that option, we can make the cards stronger than we would otherwise. So.
Right. Brad, what do you think about Amass?
I think the idea is awesome. Just making a token and growing that above and beyond an opponent's board.
Right.
The issue that I'm having though is these cards seem a little limited, and I'm looking for something more my speed and constructed.
Oh, a little more powerful? Well, Dave, do you think we could show us and the audience a more powerful Amass mechanic here?
Yeah.
That's a yes. It's Dreadhorde Invasion. It's 1 in the black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and amass 1. And another nice line of text here. Whenever a zombie token you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until end of turn. Wait, Brad, this seems a little bit nuts, right?
Yeah, no, so this is reminding me of a card from back in my day. It was called Bitter Blossom.
Yeah.
And
Zombie Blossom.
And I died a lot to my own Bitter Blossom.
Right.
So I kind of like the idea that this can chump block for me. It can keep me alive. Each turn I get a token. But if I've stabilized, it's going to allow me to grow this thing until it gains me all that life back. That's a really cool tension in a game of Magic that I haven't seen a card like that do.
Yeah, it's like a ticking timer. It's kind of like how there's, as the Ravnicans watch the army approaches, Brad is losing life and making more zombies. Thanks.
Canon.
Yeah, the army is eternal. I love the art so far. It's so compelling. And that, as you all know, was our 15th preview card, which means it's time for our super sweet 16th birthday card. We have 1 more preview card today. And this one's fun. It is Widespread Brutality. 1 a black, red sorcery. Amass 2, then the army you amassed deals damage equal to its power to each non-army creature. So that is it's a board wipe on an amass stick, I suppose. I can't wait to get my hands on this. But I know you guys are a little disappointed. It's a sorcery. Sure, it's a rare. You guys want another preview card, right? That was not as enthusiastic as that one. Which chat is more enthusiastic than you right now? Come on. All right. We saw Liliana in the trailer. I've never seen her in that state before, and I am dying to know what happens to her. Hopefully she doesn't die to know what happens to her as well. I know we can't spoil the story right now, but we can get one more preview card out of her, right? I think so. Doug, what do you think?
I mean, I want to see her, but do these guys want to see Liliana?
Oh, yeah, come on!
All right, well, let's check it out. Let's take a look at Liliana, Dread Horde General. 4 black, 6 loyalty planeswalker. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. +1, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, as Liliana does. -4, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. And her -9, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. Wow. Wow, that is powerful. Liliana looking incredibly badass in that art, too. Well, friends here at PAX East, people watching along at home, that is our 17 preview cards from War of the Spark. We have so many more coming up in the next few months, leading up to the set coming out as well. I can't wait for everyone to see the rest of the set. But until then, let's give a big thank you once again to our panelists out here. And as you all know, it is the last day of the Mythic Invitational today. Top 4 players are going to be battling it out for $1 million in prize money. Absolutely incredible, incredibly high stakes, powered by Omened by HP on MTG Arena. And I want to know, we've been watching these best players all weekend. I got to know, who is everybody rooting for to take it all home? We'll start with you, Taylor.
I think I'm going to have to go with Savich.
Savich, good choice, good choice. He's been killing it all weekend. What do you think?
I'm Team Scarf, so I'm going with Strosky for the big win.
Very nice, very nice.
Boo!
Meanwhile, I'm on Team Hats. I have been all weekend, so I'm going with a canister and his little twirly hat.
Nice. And of course, Brad.
I'm actually going with Andrea Mangucci.
Yeah.
Because he is a fan of my podcast, maybe the biggest one, but also...
Wait.
Yeah.
Really?
He is.
More.
It is a podcast that my brother and I do each Friday with a special guest, Brian Brown doing.
That is amazing. Well, you heard it here first. We know who we're rooting for up on stage at the Mythic Championships, or the Mythic Invitational, and, well, the top 4 is coming up right after this. So do not turn off that stream, especially if you want to watch the trailer once again. You guys want to watch that trailer one more time?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have the top 4 players battling it out very soon right after that. So we are live from PAX East, everybody. It is the last day of the convention. After this, we have some amazing magic coming up as well as the trailer. So stick around. I'm Jimmy Wong, and thank you guys so much for coming out today. Let's see some more magic.